You're listening to the Sisters in Loss podcast, a faith-based grief and loss podcast for Black women, where you will hear stories of miscarriage, infant loss, stillbirth, and infertility to learn there is a testimony in tragedy. You will learn how to heal, gain clarity, find hope and peace, and turn your pain into your purpose after loss. I'm your host, Erica M. McAfee. Welcome to episode 68 of the Sisters in Loss podcast. October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. All month long, we are discussing life after loss. In today's episode, we have Tarinna Olley, who shares on how impactful therapy was for her after her loss. At 28 weeks pregnant, she gave birth to her stillborn son, Gabriel, who was diagnosed with Trisomy 13, a rare genetic defect that was tested for a while in the womb. When doctors pushed for her to abort her son, she held on to hope that God would perform a miracle. Tarinna had Gabriel 3 days after she was married, and in this episode, she talks about how the incredible aching pain of grieving her baby boy and how therapy really helped her on her journey. This episode is for you to listen to if you've ever had a stillbirth or you've experienced a genetic diagnosis of your baby while they were in the womb. Here is Tarinna Olley. Well, thank you, Tarinna, for being on the podcast.
You're quite welcome.
No problem. So share with the listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, a little bit about me, just a tad. I am Tarinna Olley, and I am the founder of Tarinna Olley Therapeutic Services, which is an independent consulting company where I just go around different places doing training, seminars, workshops. My goal is to help women heal emotionally from a number of different things. And also I am a counselor by trade and profession. And so that's pretty much the skinny. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, have all boys. And so I wear many hats. I am one of the pastors at my church. And so I definitely support faith-based things. And that's pretty much who I am in a nutshell and what I do.
Thank you for sharing. So tell us about your loss story. Take us back on that journey to motherhood.
Well, that loss, and now I'm so grateful that I'm in a season where I can talk about it. I was pregnant and I carried the baby for 28 weeks, and I was advised that the baby was ill and had a number of genetic deficits. And this would have been my third child, so I didn't know if because I was over 40, if that was the issue. The doctor said that didn't have anything to do with it. And so they gave us the option to abort, but that's not something that I wanted to do. I said, if God allows the baby, which his name was Gabriel, to be here, will raise him to the best of my ability. But I believe God had another plan, and so he transitioned. And so actually he transitioned 3 days after my wedding. And so I was already initially pregnant, and then unfortunately he passed 3 days after that. And so that's pretty much the story. And I took some time off from work, definitely because of what I, do counsel and talk to people. I was just in no way, shape or form able to do that. I took off about 5 months from work. That's pretty much it. I say that was probably one of the hardest experiences that I had to date. I've had a number of them, but that one was indescribable.
Well, share with us what happened during that pregnancy and why did your doctors recommend that you terminate it?
He had a genetic disorder, which I had never heard of before, which is called Trisomy 13. And with that genetic disorder, he had water on the brain, the heart, the valves that were supposed to connect to the heart didn't connect to the heart. And so they definitely said that then with the cleft hands and feet, and they said he may be blind. And so they said he probably would be terminal all his life. So the doctor said that he could go to the board of doctors, and ethically, if I wanted to, that they could get a consent to have to terminate it. And I knew, like, that wasn't even a second thought of mine. I knew that's just not what I want to do, because, like, again, I said, I believe in God and faith-based, and so that was my prayer, that God, if you allow him to come, no matter what state, that we will care for him to the best of our abilities. But he did not make it, and so he was stillborn, so I had to deliver via C-section, but he had already passed.
Wow. So take us back on your healing journey after he passed. Tell us about how it played a role in your faith in God, and then also how your healing played a role in your relationship with your husband, because y'all were newly married at that time.
It was hard. It has been hard, and it is hard. I'm a realist, and I'm not going to sugarcoat. And for a couple of things, we are a blended family, and so we both had kids already. So attempting to blend families, attempting to be a new couple, and when most people, I guess, would have that bliss, we didn't have that because we were dealing with a death. And so me being a pastor and all those things, I had been very honest, and it's in the book that I've written about it, whereas because I was pregnant first and I wasn't married yet, I said, God, is this some type of punishment? It's because I've sinned and I've done wrong, even though I've repented. So all those things went through my mind, being very, very, very honest. And I had to process all of that. And just the mere fact of having a C-section and having no baby. And I tell people, leaving the hospital, they take you out the same entrance where all the moms are going home with their baby, and they take you out in a wheelchair. And I still was even on the same floor where people had their babies, and they didn't transfer me to a new floor. So I was still on the neonatal floor, whatever. They never moved me. So just visually it was hard. And then the healing journey, I had to really dig my heels deep in. I was angry with God, being honest. I had to seek therapy again. I have gone to therapy before, and I had to seek therapy again. And I had to be really honest with myself and admit, because I didn't admit that at first in therapy. And like I said, I'm a clinician, and so I had to really be honest, but I was just really afraid to say I was angry with God during that season. And then I spent a lot of time at night alone because my husband worked a second job. And so that in itself gave complications, because I felt maybe he should have took the time off the second job. And so, but still having to be a mom to two sons, it was hard, I would say. So I took the time that I needed home. And honestly, I wrote every single day. I cried a lot, and it was really bad. The doctors had recommended anxiety medications and things, but I just, at that time, I opted not to. And so, but God got me through lots of prayers, lots of writing, lots of honesty, and it has gotten better. And I say I took this time off that I needed some work, a lot of praying, a lot of soul searching, to really get me together. And it's still, and I was a member of an online support group with other moms of infant loss, and that group definitely was a big help for me. And I just was taking it day by day, honestly, taking it day by day. And I still do. I don't cry as much, but I still have moments, very, very honest.
Thank you for sharing that. So tell us a little bit more about your practice and what you do.
So it's not, I don't take individual clients for the Tarinna Olley Therapeutic Services. So it's more consultation. So I will definitely come to a church, mosque, synagogue, any organization to teach on emotional wellness, because anywhere that humans live or lie or work, it's important to learn how to manage those emotions. And so that is my level of expertise, coupled with mental health, because I should do substance abuse counseling for over 20 some odd years. And so bringing all that level of expertise, and also I'm a pastor, and so I bring that knowledge of biblical principles as well. And I do trainings, seminars, and also an author. And so I write my own books, and I'm a contributing writer for Thrive Global online publications. And so writing definitely is a wonderful pastime for me. I prefer writing than talking sometimes. Go figure, and I'm a counselor, right? But writing is definitely something I really enjoy to do, and I definitely want to continue to leave written legacies here in Earth. And train globally. I've gotten training at Harvard University through a program called Hive, and so that has opened a door for me. So I've done international training, and I'm doing my first international conference this November in Abuja, Nigeria, called STARS, which is Sexual Trauma and Restorative Services, which is basically a training to help those who are in the field doing work to help combat against sexual assault against women. And so I'm going to do, because in Nigeria it's really, really bad, sexual assault and sexual violence against women. And so I'll be doing that there. And I love what I do. I really, really, really do. I absolutely love what I do. And I believe it's my purpose and why God put me here on this earth. And I get to talk to awesome people like you.
Awesome. So share with us the resources that you use to help you on your healing journey.
The online group, I think definitely due to technology, you can connect with different people literally around the world. And so that online group for other moms who experienced infant loss, that was definitely a big saving grace. Also, once again, therapy. I actually go to therapy, still do go from time to time. So that definitely helped. And a lot of prayer. And I have a great support system to really, really close girlfriends, and so they are always sounding boards for me. And like a lot of prayer and a lot of honest talks with myself, a lot of honest conversations with my husband. And so those are the things that I do. And I don't believe in advising or encouraging people to do things that I wouldn't necessarily, do or even have tried. But we all have different experiences, but those are things that have worked and do work for me. Taking it one day at a time, because some days were really hard, and some days I didn't want to pray. So it is. Some days I didn't want to read anything. Some days I didn't want to talk, because those are the highs and lows that come with that. So, but I'm in such a better place, and I'm really grateful for that.
Awesome. So what encouraging words can you leave the lost mom who's out there who is looking to try again after their loss?
I would definitely say it is hard. It is extremely hard. But I will say over time, it does get a little easier. And that's my experience. And I've heard other people say as such. And it's that, but I think work has to be done. I think sometimes people try to suppress or ignore or they isolate. And I don't think they allow anyone to help them in that healing process. And everyone may not pursue therapy, and that's okay. I definitely encourage it. I highly encourage it. But if you opt not to do therapy, I definitely say don't attempt to go through this process alone. Reach out to some online support groups, but it will get better over time. Grieving is a process, and I would say that you have to allow yourself time to grieve and to go through the gamut of emotions that you're going to experience. I would not get on here and tell a falsehood and say, in about 10, 15 days or in a year, you're going to be this much better. I can't say that. Everyone has their individual process. But what I can say and what I do know, that it does get better and that you will have some sunny days after. And the tears will come, but they may not come as much. And if you need to get, like I said, some professional help for that, then it's okay. But don't beat yourself up thinking that there's a time frame that you need to be in. But you can get through it. I'm a living witness of it, that you can get through it. And that's what I would encourage some women to continue to hold on. Get you a good support system to help you through that. Don't attempt to do it alone. And in time, during your process, things will get better. And that's something that I would definitely leave with another mom, or even a dad for that matter, just as well.
Awesome. So where can we find you on social, and what's your website?
My website is TarinaOlley.com, and that is TARINNA. Olley, that's O as in Oscar, LLEY.com. You can learn more about me. I'm the pretty brown lady on the front. That's me. And so I'm also all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Not on Snapchat. All underneath of Tarinna Olley. And so that would be me. And also, you may see some books of mine in this link. My former last name was Terrell, so if you ever see Tarinna Terrell or any books, I'm that same person. But I'm just remarried now, and so my new last name is Olley. But you can find me all over there.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Tarinna, for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Erica, for having me. It has been a pleasure and a delight.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I pray that this show was inspirational and a blessing to you. For show notes, visit ericamcafee.com/podcast. Please join us in our offline discussions in our private Facebook group by going to sistersinloss.com. If you're listening in Apple Podcasts, please rate and subscribe to us and leave us a 5-star review. I pray that you all have a blessed week. Keep the faith, and I'll talk to you next Wednesday.